Jorge Masvidal hits back at Ben proclamations. This guy alive. Masvidal has responded to Askren's recent comments. Jorge Masvidal isn't taking Ben Askren's offer for a potential rematch seriously amidst their MMA retirements.
Masvidal retired following a unanimous decision loss to Gilbert Burns at UFC 287 in Miami. He decided to announce his retirement during his post-fight interview after many speculated during fight week that an end to his career could be around the corner.
Masvidal retired as one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in UFC history. His late career ascent in 2019 is arguably one of the greatest calendar years for a fighter of all time. During his 2019 run, he pulled off the fastest knockout in UFC history, live, by hitting Askren with a flying knee at 239.
He went on to defeat Nate Diaz for the EBMF title later that year at UFC 244. Askren retired from MMA following a loss to Demian Maia. He returned to combat sports in a boxing match against Jake Paul in 2021, losing by first-round knockout.
Askren has hinted that a rematch with Masvidal would be the only way to lure him out of MMA retirement, although Masvidal seems uninterested in the prospect of running it back. Jorge Masvidal mocks Ben Askren after comeback comment.
In a recent Instagram post, Masvidal appeared to dismiss Askren's offer for a comeback fight. "This guy's still alive," Masvidal said. To prove his seriousness behind a comeback fight, Askren screenshotted a recent text conversation with UFC President Dana White and shared it on social media.
This was followed up by Masvidal hinting at a fight with Askren in the boxing ring. Before signing with the UFC in 2019, Askren won titles and won in Bellator. After trading barbs with White, the promotion finally elected to bring him aboard after a trade for Demetrius Johnson with one.
Masvidal has turned his full-time attention from fighting to promoting in recent months, but another scrap with a former rival isn't outside of the realm of possibility.
Nate Diaz names 53. Askren as his toughest opponent ever donates to choose from after a nearly 20-year career in MMA. Nate Diaz says that the hardest fight he's ever had was against an opponent that also shared the UFC's Octagon with his brother Nick.
The Diaz brothers are two of the most popular fighters in MMA history, but Nate's stardom reached new heights when he took on Conor McGregor for a pair of bouts in 2016. The 38-year-old fought sporadically after those matchups and experienced mixed results, but he did close out his UFC contract with a submission win over Tony Ferguson in the main event of UFC 279.
Now set to step into the boxing ring for the first time against Jake Paul, Diaz was recently asked by Bradley Martin if he could pick out the hardest fight of his lengthy career. "I always say it, but there's a guy that I fought named Josh Neer," Diaz said on Raw Talk.
"He's a motherfire. He's my boy now, though, we're homies. But Josh Neer fought my brother, and they was fighting for 3 rounds hard. And Nick's doing his thing, hitting him a lot. And I was like, this fit."
Finished were all in the first round and maybe the second round. Nate Diaz breaks down his fight with Josh Neer. Nick submitted Neer with a Kimura in the third round of their bout at UFC 62. And 2 years later, the dentist got a chance for revenge when he and Nate met in the Octagon.
Time went by, and then he went down to 155 where I was fighting at. And I asked for a better opponent. I was beating people. That's when I first got to the UFC. I beat a few people. And so they gave me Josh Neer, who was one of the top 5 guys. That's right, when I started to fight people. And it was my hardest
fight. I watched him fight so much and then trained so perfect for him that everything was like, he'd throw punches, I slipped it right under it, grabbed him and everything, but he countered everything, and it was like, if you watch that fight, me versus Josh Neer, it's 100 miles an hour. It's a good fight.
Neer lost a split decision to Diaz and competed several more times for the UFC before exiting the promotion in 2010. But he did make his way back for another 5-fight run that ended with a loss to Court McGee at UFC 157.
Diaz's time with the UFC may be over, but the former lightweight title challenger is still at the forefront of plenty of combat sports headlines with his boxing debut fast approaching. His matchup with Paul is set to take place on August 5 in Dallas, Texas, and Problem Child
has already tried to convince Diaz that the two should also book an MMA bout. Vicente Luque cleared for UFC return after revealed brain hemorrhage indefinitely paused career. Luque suffered a big health scare that postponed his fighting career.
A fellow welterweight contender Vicente Luque will return to the Octagon with humility after nearly having his career taken away from him.
Luque will face former UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos in a welterweight headliner on August 12th in Las Vegas.
He returns after a knockout loss to Jeff Neal last August and is looking to get back in the welterweight title picture. In preparation for his return, Luque had to undergo tests by neurologists to get clearance from the Nevada State Athletic Commission to compete.
He suffered a brain bleed in the loss to Neal last August, executive director Jeff Mon told Emma Junkie this week. Luque and Dos Anjos were supposed to fight earlier this month before the matchup was rescheduled for August 12th.
The reasoning was likely due in part to the drastic testing he underwent to make sure his hemorrhage had fully healed. Vicente Luque returns next month for UFC Fight Night headliner. NASAC unanimously approved the return of the 31-year-old Luque in recent days.
Luque appeared on the fast track to a shot back losses to Bilal Muhammad and Neal. He defeated the likes of Tyrone Woodley, Michael Chiesa, and Randy Brown in 2020 and 2020, one before his recent struggles.
Concerns over brain injuries have been a major talking point in combat sports in recent years. Luckily, Luque was able to fully recover from the injury and resume his athletic career.
Luque is still in the physical prime of his career, and he'll look to get back on track when he welcomes Dos Anjos back to the Octagon next month.